Hello everybody and welcome to NBL Overtime. The NBL preseason is in full swing as we know, but our eyes, and I think the eyes of the basketball world in particular, the excitement is building here in Australia as we look towards China. The Boomers now are only one win away from playing off for a medal, and that elusive senior men's medal that has so far in major tournaments eluded the Australian Boomers is now starting on the verge of becoming a reality. Plenty to get into. I'm Cameron Luke. Hashtag NBL Overtime. Hashtag NBL 20. Hashtag where is the hoodie? 217 people last week said to me, I would buy one of those cupcake hoodies if Corey Homicide Williams actually puts them on the market. My man, welcome to you.
How you doing, man?
What's the feedback been about? Well, not that hoodie. That's a nice hoodie, though, but the hoodie from last week.
I mean, the feedback has been way bigger than I thought.
So when's this happening?
The merch, we're working on it. It'll be up shortly. Before the season begins.
Before the season.
They will be for sale, and just go to the website and get it.
To Liam Santamaria, welcome to you. And I tell you, this always happens in big sporting tournaments, and the excitement that is jumbled in with the Boomers and how they're playing. But these late nights are starting to take a toll. But it feels like we're not even needing to sleep right now because it's so exciting.
How good. Just so good, so exciting that they're not only that they're progressing and winning, but they're just playing so well. They're such an easy team to get behind. And I'm just loving having a team to support. I usually don't cheer for a team, and it's hard to cheer for the Phoenix Suns in the NBA.
True, and nested in the basketball policy.
But also,
hey, you know what? Thank you to Liam Santamaria. Finally got a team that's getting some wins on the board. That's all that matters.
I love it. But also, you know what? Having all of the basketball fans in Australia supporting this one team. It's the NBL's so tribalistic. The Wildcats fans hate the 36ers and Melbourne and Sydney, and everyone's just cheering on this one team, and they are rolling.
Can't wait for it. We're going to get to the Boomers very shortly. A huge game against Czech Republic. A couple of big-name NBL players are hoping to use the momentum as well. We'll talk a little bit about that. And some pre-season action as well. It's sometimes hard to marry up when guys are actually over there in China doing their thing for Australia and New Zealand, but as it stands right about now, pre-season is well and truly underway. But some exciting news that was released since we all last got together is that LD Mobile have come on, of course, been a very valued partner of the league for a little while now, but they've come on board of NBL Overtime for NBL 20. We've been able to slide them into the logo. Tell you what, new phone.
Look, I'm with you.
Can't wait.
I can't wait either. But it's pretty awesome that we finally now have a sponsor on our show. That goes to show you guys we're doing a pretty good job.
In the words of the great man, shout out to Aldi Mobile.
Yes. Yes. And of course, they have been, as I said, a great and a very proud partner of the NBL for a little while now. So to them to extend their deal and their partnership and also to branch out into a couple of other avenues, such as NBL Overtime, we welcome you to the show and being a huge part of it for many years to come. So thank you.
It's a savvy play by Aldi. It's a good time to get involved in NBL Overtime, just quietly.
Yes, that's true. And also, for three people who spend 95% of their time on their phones,
it
is a perfect partnership. So welcome to LD Mobile. All right, let's get down to business because tomorrow night, 11 p.m. Australian Eastern Standard Time, I hope I've got that right, the Australians will play the Czech Republic for a chance and a place in a semi-final at the World Cup. And this has been, for the first ever time, the first time Australia men's team have won 5 straight games at a World Championship or a World Cup, as it's now rebranded. And as you touched on, Liam Santamaria, they are playing some very good ball.
They really are. And that win last night was epic. I mean, we will remember that win for a long, long time. We're going to remember the win over the US here at Marvel. We're going to remember that win over Lithuania. We're going to forget Canada and Senegal. That happened. We won't remember it. But this one was massive because it broke the bracket wide open for us and gave us a really favourable quarterfinal matchup and the potential to avoid the US and Serbia in the semi-final. So absolutely huge, and it was so tightly contested. All of our big guys stood up, Mills, Ingles. The play of Aaron Baines was unbelievable, and a bunch of NBL guys stepping in as well. Mitch Creek, I thought, played some really, really big minutes.
Mitch Creek's tournament, as this has gone on, has just got better and better and better defensively, and some clutch foul shots, but defensively he's been brilliant. You spoke last week about some late game execution with Andre Lamanis led teams, and there has been opportunities in this tournament to fall into traps that have fallen. And we'll talk about the Australian Boomers here and their inability to get shots or to close out games. That, with the Lithuanian win last week, was one little tip. But I think last night when they were down 9 early in the fourth, you just got the feeling this could go two ways. They can stand up and deliver like the team we expect them to be, or they can just have one of those honourable losses against one of the best teams and go into the much tougher draw. And to be able to execute, get the ball in the right hands, Paddy Mills a lot of that time, and to be able to handle the pressure, knowing what was at the end of that game, was a sure sign that it's not always maturity that gets used when it comes to international basketball, but this group has matured now to a legit gold medal chance, not one that we just hoped was going to come in and play good basketball.
This team knows that they can win. You know, I think they all know that the time is now for basketball in Australia. They feel it. They've been down this road many times and have come up empty. But all that experience, a loss ain't a loss, it's a lesson. You know what I mean? Which leads them to now. They're going to beat Czech Republic, okay? They're not just going to beat them. They're going to beat their asses.
Come on, man.
I'm saying that because that's what I believe.
That's what I believe.
We thought that in 2014 against Turkey.
This is different. This is different. The time is now. Look how everything's been going.
I feel you. I just don't want to say it.
I'll say it. Every team that we question, this is going to be a big test. What happened? They won.
They passed.
You understand what I'm saying? You can't be this close to the goal and falter. You can't. The thing that Australian basketball players usually don't have is a guy, throw the ball to, move out the way, let him create. You got Patty Mills. He's delivering. These guys are legitimate pros in the NBA. They know what time it is, collectively and individually. They're not losing against Czech Republic.
I feel you. It is a danger game. You know why it's a danger game? Because we all feel like they're going to win, and deep down, they're only human. They feel like they're going to win as well. And each time they've had one of those games against Senegal and against the Dominican Republic, where it felt like it was a fait accompli, it turned into more of a struggle than it really should have been. So now, having said that, their eyes are well and truly on the prize now. They know it's knockout. And there's some good players on this team. Sadaransky is absolutely balling. He's on triple-double watch every time he comes out to play.
So is Joe Ingles.
Hey, we've
I'm
got,
with you.
We've got the guys.
I'm with you.
But
I'm
look,
with you. I'm with you too.
We were pretty much in this situation 5 years ago in Spain, where the bracket was worked out.
Manipulated. It was manipulated.
The bracket worked out where we weren't going to meet the US in the quarterfinals. We had a round of 16 game against Turkey, and it was like, let's just get the job done, and we didn't. We got knocked out by a team we never should have got knocked out by.
They are a better team this time, though.
100%.
But I see your point.
But some teams have lost some games along the way here in this tournament that they didn't expect to lose. So you got to make sure you take care of business. But boy, the seas have parted. This is not the Spain that we remember. This is a good team. They beat Serbia, but we can 100% go ahead and beat that team. We can 100% beat any team in the tournament.
It's wide open.
The bracket's wide open. And you talked about our execution down the stretch and how it's been really good. The bits that I've liked the most are those gut check moments that have happened in the third quarter of those two. In fact, the win over the US, the win over Lithuania, and the win over France. We got down around 10 in the third quarter of each of those games. Now, you don't want that to happen in the first place, sure. But in each of those moments, the guys have come together, held their nerve, worked their way into the game and went on with it. And they're just so much fun to support. And
even if you look at the Senegal game, the Canadian game as well to open the tournament, the fact is, and there is some frustration aligned to this because they blew, not against Senegal as such, but they blew a pretty big lead against Canada. But they were able to pick themselves up. They didn't allow the scoreboard to dictate what they were going to do on the next possession. They went through, and yet again, I mentioned the frustration, the turnovers at different times, which frustrates us. Imagine what it must frustrate the coaching staff and the players. But they have come through, even their wins against the lower-ranked teams. There has been some adversity over the time of the 40 minutes, and they've handled it better than any Boomers team in the history of the game. Now, I'm not suggesting they're the greatest Boomers team, but they may well be in 8 days' time. But they have been able to handle and I think that comes with the maturity of, as you touched on, guys, big, not just the NBL, which has got bigger and higher intensity, but the NBA players who have played correct me if I'm wrong, and I think this is a stat we might have used a couple of weeks ago, they've got more NBA championship winners in this team than anyone else at the tournament. So these guys have been involved in big games at different times. So when there has been a slight worrisome moment, either a 20-point lead getting whittled down to 1 or 2, or even being lost, or the fact that they find themselves in a 10-point hole against a really good European outfit, they've been able to believe in what they do. And so many of us sat here and hit social media after we lost to Canada 3 weeks ago and spoke about, what's Andre Lamanis doing? The very fact that these players, 1 to 12, believe in the system and believe in Andre Lamanis, I think shows out every single minute of every single game.
And it's the golden window for us here. Now, we've got a lot of Ben Simmons and Bolden and Maker and Josh Green and these guys coming through, and who knows where that's going to take us. But Andrew Bogut led our junior Aussies to the world title in 2003. And now, however many years later...
16 years.
It's kind of this year and next year at the Olympics is kind of the end of that golden window. Now, a whole bunch of guys have now come up with him, behind him, right? He was the number 1 pick in the draft.
Right.
And then Ingles and Mills and Baines and all this NBA experience. And they're all playing at their peak. And now is the time to strike.
I'm with you. I'm not as... Cocky is probably the wrong word, but to which...
Confident,
although that might have been today. But I'm with you.
The time is now.
Right there. And the excitement that has continued to grow.
Get around them.
I think it's really just... As great as the USA game was, I reckon halfway through the third quarter, we spoke about the different feeling when Paddy Mills started hitting some shots. It's just grown from there. From that sad day at Marvel Stadium to where we sit today, and what could transpire over the next week is so exciting if you're a basketball fan or nerd like you and I have been for a long period of time.
Last night, when they got down 9, late in the third quarter...
Don't tell me you flicked over to the USA-Brazil game.
No, I didn't. But the way they just went whack. 3-ball Ingles, 3-ball Mills. Now it's a 1-bucket game again. It just spoke to the confidence that they have, but it kind of reminded me, like, hey, don't panic. They're not panicking. Don't panic in them.
You know, I'm not sure how much international basketball and Boomers basketball you've watched, but at different times in different tournaments, I've always had the worry of how they're going to find a score or get a score. And that goes a long way to having Paddy Mills being in the form and the talent that he is. But their ability to be able to score almost at will in this tournament, I think they're the second highest scoring team behind Serbia, is something that we haven't seen a great deal. Now, defensively, in big moments, they've been great. The last possession last night, one of the obvious ones. But their ability to be able to score, and you're right, score quickly and against the flow is a huge reason as to why they're undefeated.
Yo, who's the best playmaker on this team? Mark Worthington and I, Felix, this morning spoke about this.
Joe Ingles.
Who's running the point for him?
Well,
put him in a pick and roll. He makes plays happen. He's creating plays for himself as well as others. Then you got the best player on their team.
They've been able to find the right
Aaron Baines. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Hitting threes. He hit 5 threes last night.
Yes.
But he was great.
He was great.
What?
Then everybody else is stepping up. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And when it's time to close the game, you know who we're going to. It's a great mix.
What was that?
When it's time to close a game, you know who we're going to.
We're going to.
I mean, listen, I'm Team USA all day, but facts are facts.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? Like I said, if you are determined, as an individual, when you know, I got to hit this target, this is my best opportunity to do it. As an individual, you're not letting nobody stop you, especially if you're that close to it. Now, as a team, come on, man, they see it. It's right there. The light is right there. I'm not allowing nobody, not you, to stop me from getting the way I got to go to. They will beat Czech Republic.
I feel you. I think they will. You talk about Joe Ingles.
Let's go.
Joe Ingles.
I've never seen you this excited.
I'm hyped.
Yeah, I see that.
It's a great time for basketball in this country.
I agree.
It's never been like this. It's never. You know what I'm saying? So everybody get around it. It's a beautiful thing. I've never felt this type of energy in this country on a day-to-day basis in the NBL offseason. Come on, man. You know, come on.
It's awesome.
Who do you think's to thank for that? The Boomers or us on NBL Overtime?
No. Hey, there's a lot of love for Joe Ingles as the playmaker, right? Of course there should be, because he's been doing great things. And he's almost leading? Is he still leading the tournament in assists? He may well. Delhi is just quietly working his. I mean, obviously he had that breakout shooting performance in the opening game of the tournament, but 9 assists last night. Had some foul trouble that kind of limited him at times as well. But his confidence with the ball and with his shot is getting better and better. And I mean, he had a good game last night.
I think you spoke about the adjustments prior to the second USA game, where Ingles, who wasn't great in the first one, was really good in the second, but also how well Matthew Dellavedova played off the ball. And you touch on that mix. Joe Ingles does at different times handle the ball and has passed it exceptionally well, and Della did last night. But Lemanis, with the system and the way they've been able to play, to be able to essentially have 2 point guards on the floor and still be able to get maximum out of both of them, it goes a lot to the coaching, because it hasn't taken away from Matthew Dellavedova, who just hasn't become irrelevant because Joe Ingles gets the ball in certain moments.
Mate, his coaching has been outstanding.
No doubt.
Outstanding. And the adjustments, the in-game adjustments, you've got to credit the entire coaching staff, the scouts. I mean, they've got guys like Danny Mills out in different cities in China that are scouting their future opponents, and they're putting in together good work. But their in-game adjustments. One game it was, you know what, we need to get after this a little bit when they got down. We need to get after this. Let's put Nick Kay in the game. Let's get up the floor, put some pressure on, turn that thing around. Another one was we tried up offensively, and he was like, all right, let's go back to getting Bogut some elbow catches, get some action, some splits action, and that got the offense humming from there, and Patty Mills was the beneficiary. And then last night, it was the defensive adjustment. We got down 9. He reinserted Joe Ingles into the game and said, you go and play on Fournier. Shut him down. He's got 26. We've got a quarter and a half still to play. He's tearing us up, and Joe locked him up. So you could tip your hat to the coaching staff. Them, the players, the whole crew are doing a terrific job.
Have we put the bracket up yet? People at the back, I apologise if we missed the bracket, and we have spoken a little bit about it. There it is right there. And you spoke, Liam, about that big game where Spain were able to get hold of Serbia in the second quarter. Jokic got ejected. And in the end, look, Spain are extremely... So it's not like it was a massive upset, because Spain are so good as well, but it has opened it up. Spain and Poland there, and Australia and the Czech Republic, the winners, are playing a semi-final. But the other one looks a tougher role. If you look at Argentina, of course, who have gone a little bit under the radar in this tournament from probably from our perspective, but we know how good
they're not going to take a backward step
tonight. No, they are
tonight.
most certainly not. And of course, the USA-France game is going to be exceptional. The USA, I thought, played a little bit better last night and might be finding themselves, but might be a tad late.
You take a look at that bracket and you see where we would have been had we lost last night. Now, this USA team, I wrote this the other day, this USA team's not a team to be feared. If you can avoid them,
you better.
Before it's
don't get it twisted. Listen,
you know what I mean?
they pros.
Right.
They pros. They're in the NBA for a reason. When their back is up against the wall, 2 things are going to happen. You're going to get ran over, or you're going to step up. Make no mistake, that backcourt are superstars. Kemba Walker's going, if he got to turn it to the former Charlotte Bobcats, now Boston Celtic, 26 a game, he can do that. Spider Mitchell, he needs to get to Spider Mitchell mode, he'll do that. Harrison Barnes, championship, he'll do that. You understand what I'm saying? So don't think this is just a sweet walkover, because it's not. France got their hands full.
I think
they're still not going to win it. They're not going to win it, the US, I don't think.
I still think Serbia's the best team in the tournament.
And when we play them...
I don't think Serbia's the best team.
I think
it's so wide open.
Well, it is wide open. I'm not saying Serbia are definitely going to win gold, but...
we could be the best team in the tournament.
Well, we're going to find out in 8 days' time, or whenever it might be, or whenever it is. Are we having an NBL Overtime viewing party?
Let's not get ahead of ourselves. Let's beat Czech Republic and let's go from there.
Either way, I just want to say just quickly before we get to the Tall Blacks, who actually ended the tournament really well last night as well. We spoke a couple of weeks ago about the USA team not being as strong, and we spoke about the fact of Kevin Durant, 2010, Derrick Rose, players who have gone and played for the USA and propelled them into huge seasons in the NBA the following year. And I was thinking about this last night from an Australian perspective. Chris Golding's had a really good tournament, started off really well, it's been really good. Nick Kay's been outstanding. Andrew Bogut, of course, has been really good, and Mitch Creek's last 2 games, he's actually got better and better each and every tournament. And it got me thinking how exciting it is for these 4 players who, at 4 really good teams leading into an NBL season. Not here as the pre-season has started, but if they, in a similar theory, come back, and I spoke to Mark Worthington on radio in Melbourne today, and he spoke about how confident you feel when you come back to the NBL, when you've played well at a major tournament. And we've got 4 key cornerstones of 4 very good NBL teams coming back, being a part of this, playing well. And I'm not going to forget Glidden and Sobey as well, who are part of this squad as well. But these 4 players have, at different times, played really well. It excites me for how the form from opening night in the NBL is going to tip off, because these guys are going to come back feeling on top of the world. And I love it.
100%. And you were going to segue towards the Tall Blacks. Corey Webster falls into that category.
Oh, my God.
In a big way. In a huge way. Second leading scorer in the tournament, averaging 23 a game, and played really well again last night, leading the Tall Blacks over Turkey.
Not just Corey Webster, and they had a number of players who played well. Shea Ili had a really good tournament as well. He's coming to be a backup here in the NBL for Melbourne United.
Best backup in the league.
Smith Milner played really well as well in moments that he got as well. But this win last night against Turkey, who came oh so close outside of choking to beat the US last week, this is a big win and a positive way to end a really good tournament for this team.
No Ilyasova. Throw that out there.
No, hang on. We're going to strength the schedule.
we're just going to strength opposition.
I get
There's
that.
no Ilyasova in that team, so he makes a big difference.
He does.
It's like taking Corey Webster out of the Tall Blacks, and so you got to mention it. But yes, it was a big win. They executed really well in crunch time. Fotu was big. Rob Lowe played really well.
Can only beat your player, Liam said.
Well, they did that. 17 points, 3 of 5 from long range for Rob Lowe, and a bunch of the NBL guys, Abercrombie, Finn Delaney. Here is Delaney throwing down.
Ooh.
They did a really good job, and Ty Webster played really well as well. I'd love to see him in the NBL one day, but in the end, I think the Tall Blacks I think they've flown a little under the radar in terms of the way they've played in China. They've played really well, and New Zealand basketball fans should be really proud of how they've gone about it. You look at the funding that New Zealand basketball's getting at the moment, and it's a sad situation, and they have played at a level that belies that sort of support, and they were in a super tough group. They played Greece really tough. This win here, tip your hat to them. Well done, Paul Hanare and the whole group.
Yeah, yet again, we've spoken about it all off-season, starting with that all-NBL tour of China for Corey Webster, how well he played there, and how excited we are. So there's another guy who said, we've got 5-6 people who are coming back to the NBL in ripping form, who on the biggest tournament and the biggest stage have played exceptionally well. So to the Tall Blacks, good job. Look, you got nothing? You got
No.
He's working on a masterpiece.
He's got that smirk on his face. I thought he had him something. All right, we're going to get to NBL pre-season games shortly, but firstly, and
I'm waiting on it.
So am I pray. It's Santa's watching World
some
Cup
good
edition.
stuff.
I hope that I think all basketball fans right now in Australia are hoping makes an appearance.
No. The Brazilians not in there. I'm sorry.
Oh, come
on.
It's a visual medium.
No.
It's a visual medium, so that you have to get on Twitter.
Santa's watching style. Fire away, mate. What do you
Well, shout out to all the...
shout out to Gazy and the Brazilian
Hey,
fans.
this is maybe the player of the week. Look at this, Jalen Brown. Whew, I like that. The French guys couldn't get out of their noses.
Oh, get out of here. What is he doing?
Pick and roll, baby.
Hold on.
Oh, my
Hold on.
God.
It's not finished. Back in.
What?
I'm telling you, look at these boys.
Wow. Wow.
Hey, this flew under the radar because everyone was celebrating their Landrins, but watch Joe Ingles. Doink. Little volleyball action and then soccer. Use his head. Speaking of using your head, Sek Henry. Oh. Come on, Sek. What were they doing over there?
I know one thing.
Keeping it light.
Half
the teams in China.
So, yeah, sorry to disappoint.
No, you're disappointed.
You're disappointed. Yes, you did.
And we have all had the... Now, if you haven't seen it, I don't even know where it'll be on. It might be on...
It's on Twitter.
Yeah, it's on Twitter. I'm just trying to find it and I can't actually run it. But we've all had the privilege and the honour of working with Andrew Gaze, and he can talk underwater.
Yep.
He didn't have it into the safe for 5 or 6 seconds.
He was a little distracted.
All right. Talking New Zealand... and while there's some positives and a lot of positives coming out of the Tall Blacks as we head towards what is going to be an exciting NBL season, Dylan Boucher no longer at the club. News filtered through the last couple of days. And a month out from the season, regardless of who you lose, in particular a man who has been around the NBL and been so successful for a long time as a player and as an administrator, it's going to hurt just a little bit in some certain way.
It's a big loss. I think it's a big loss. It's not a surprise. It's not a surprise, but it's a big loss. Dylan Boucher is a legend of the league, and he knows how to be successful. He knows how to be successful on the court, and he's been a part of some seriously successful organisations, right? At New Zealand, where they built up that culture, with Brisbane when they had that spectacular season under Joey Wright. And he's just a really well-regarded, well-respected guy. So having him in your organisation in a role like that is a good thing, and losing him is a bad thing. And like you say, 1 month out from the start of the season, it's the kind of disruption and kind of, I've used the term volatility within that organisation at times over the last kind of 12, 18 months that you don't need at the best of times, let alone right before the start of the season. I like their roster. It's a talented, deep roster, but this kind of stuff doesn't help.
Yeah, this guy's been a champion on and off the court. He's a constant professional. He handles himself the right way at all times. So again, a month out, we talking months ago, a couple of months ago, the coach got fired pretty much. Position became redundant. And now, months later, the GM leaves. It's not a good look right now. Definitely not a month before the season. So I don't know what's going on with New Zealand. Good luck in the season, but the energy ain't right now.
Well, where did you have them on the depth chart?
I had them top 4. I had them tier 1. I still have them.
I see. Not the ones that I see.
No, that when I was on vacation.
Oh, there's a try you on vacation.
Yeah, so I was on vacation, so I copied and pasted.
There it is.
I still have them tier 1.
Tier 1?
100%.
100%.
I actually...
The break is tier 1. Sydney, Melbourne,
Tier 1,
Perth,
tier 1.
New Zealand.
Tier 1.
Who else is on tier 1? Is the whole league?
It's tier 1 and 2. No. I have those 4. Perth is tier 1.
Tier 1, okay, so you got 5 tier 1 teams.
I have 4 tier 1 teams.
Oh, hang on.
Wow. New Zealand is in that.
I got New Zealand.
Got a lot of love for them. There are some positives.
I do.
Let's talk about, their roster.
Let's talk about the roster real quick.
Nice.
All right.
And the roster's stacked. You're starting a teenage point guard. Whether you want to do that or not.
You definitely do it.
Okay. Well, they're doing it.
100%. You put him at the 1. You put
Webster.
Sek at the 2.
Or Webster.
You put Webster at the 3.
Whoa,
You put
whoa.
Hobson at the 4. We going 4 out, 1 in. Let's go.
Where's Finn Delaney?
Off the bench. We going 4 out, 1 in.
Come on, man.
The form. Look, here's going to be the problem.
They will do that at times.
Here's going to be the problem, in my opinion. Sek Henry's not coming here to come off the bench. All right? Former MVP of the league in Israel and 18 a game in Turkey. Yeah. He's not coming off the bench here.
Yeah, but Corey Webster's not.
No one knew he was playing like this. He's playing Corey Webster basketball.
Uh-huh.
He's back. So what do? You put Corey on the bench? Nope. I'm going small ball. 4 out, 1 in. We going run and gun. That's what I'm going to do.
That's not small ball, man. That's a track team.
Finn, you come off the bench. Ooh. We'll put young RJ out. Sometimes we might put Corey at the point, which he can play, Finn at the 4, and then you put the other import at the 5. And you still got a Tim Majuk. That's what I'm going to do.
Look.
I'm going small ball.
Why don't you go all out and put Finn at the 5?
No, come on.
No, we can't do that. We can't do that. But I'm doing 4 out, 1 in with that team.
That's a small crew,
We're going to see plenty of that.
Plenty of it.
We're going to see plenty of it.
So start it.
That's whether they start it or they don't, we're going to see plenty of it. We're going to see plenty of Finn Delaney at the 4 as well. We're going to see plenty of, Rob Lowe. They've got Chris Abekba. They've got... Right? They
got enough.
They've got big bodies. They've got all kinds of options the way they want to do it.
So many options.
And from talking with him and from talking to people around the Breakers,
right.
Dan Shamir is the real deal.
Yep.
Who?
The director of...
okay.
The guy calling the shots during the games and
the coach?
The one you might have a chat to at certain times.
He's the real deal.
I know he's the real deal. And how about this? 2 years ago, you two. Maybe not you. It was you.
Go on.
I said to you both.
I'm on Liam's side.
There will be an import coach in this league. You both looked at me and was like...
You pointed to New Zealand.
And look where we at again.
You're right.
Yeah, you know what, though? Just on that, though. And, hey, congratulations, man. You're right.
Appreciate it.
You had an idea that it was coming and you wouldn't tell us on the show. That's what we were just trying to sit on the fence so you gave us the information rather than having people slide into DMs.
But I just think it's an interesting scenario because I think it's a fascinating case study because the talent is there. The roster is nice. This guy is the real deal as a basketball mind and a coach. And it's an interesting case study about you hear about how much stability, continuity, kind of chemistry across your entire organisation, how much that does actually come into play. Because what we have seen in the NBL over a period of time is that that has a massive influence on whether you win or lose, whether you make the finals, whether you win championships. New Zealand Breakers under the Blackwells, Perth Wildcats over the time, and Melbourne United got that championship, Perth, and they don't have that stability right now. Can they, they're trying to build it, they're trying to put their pieces in place and then build from there? Sure, it's not there right now. Can they, with this talented roster and this terrific basketball mind in place, have success immediately nonetheless? I'd be very surprised, but it'll be interesting to watch.
Sorry to cut you off. Here's what I think. With that roster, majority of them never even played in the NBL. So they're not thinking like NBL culture, how it is in the past. Then you got a coach who never coached in the NBL. Just put it like this. This team pretty much, the nucleus of this team is like a bunch of guys that played in Europe. This coach is going to do it just like we do it in Europe. We figure it out as we go. We're going to come up with 4 out, 1 in. I guarantee you they start like that.
All right.
I guarantee you, and I don't know nothing, no reports. 4 out, 1 in. You cannot have Corey Webster in the form he is in.
I agree.
Come off the bench. You cannot put Hobson, the stud he is, off the bench. Seth Henry, the stud he is. It ain't going to happen.
You can't do it.
4 out, 1 off.
Melbourne United brought Chris Golding off the bench last season. They almost won the title.
Now, you know that I'm an entertainment guy, okay? So I'm talking to people in New Zealand, people at the NBL, whoever the hell I want to be, all right? You see Hard Knocks, NFL reality TV show?
No, I missed it.
All right, so it's a reality TV show that goes inside training camp with the Oakland Raiders this year.
Yeah.
Oh, man.
This is what we need to do in New Zealand because I think they are they're going to be so fun to watch, and it's led by RJ Hampton because of that situation. So NBL, New Zealand Breakers do it internally, or Sky Sports New Zealand over there who are huge. Just get a camera and just all warts and all and just let it roll because I think it would be great fun to watch, and that is what the NBL, that's the next level of entertainment the NBL needs.
I'm looking forward. I'm hoping to get a bit of an insight into, a bit of a fly on the wall sort of style insight into that in the States during their NBL, NBA stuff coming up. Last year in Salt Lake City with the Wildcats and the Adelaide 36ers, it was great to spend a few days with them when they were over there playing the Jazz and, get to know the mix within the group and how everybody gets along and how they go about their practices and whatnot. And over there with the Breakers in, where are they? Oklahoma City and Memphis. It's going to be very interesting.
That's going to be good.
If they don't allow you to take the camera, we'll get you a button cam. Just sit it right there. Just see what happens.
No, it's all good.
Yo, you got to remember, the 2020 mock draft, RJ Hampton is number 6.
Mm-hmm.
We have to think about that again. I'm going to say it again. He is picked number 6 on a mock draft. This kid is no joke, man. We haven't seen any footage of him. They've been strategic with him. In the summertime, I'm talking about. All you see every now and then, you might see him do a dunk or... He's like, look, I'm not showing you guys nothing. I'm in the lab working. When I come here, I'm coming correct. So I think the first time... I can't wait for the blitz. You know what I'm saying? I really cannot wait for the blitz.
That's next week, you know that.
I know.
Last week you were like, that's a month away. So no, man,
I can't wait.
There is nobody out here. There's nobody on here questioning RJ Hampton.
No, I'm not saying we are.
Whatsoever.
Not at all.
I'm just saying, he's not coming out here to eat cupcakes, Corey.
No. Listen, we all know this ain't a cupcake league.
Hey, you gave him the advice.
Look, I told him, 100%.
It's a grown man league, and he and LaMelo and all those guys, right?
I think there's just a lot of the big homies around him he going to be all right. I don't think it's going to be as bad. Because guess what? Let's say tonight he got Casper, right?
Mm-hmm.
Here's what you can do. Slide him to the 2. Seth Henry guard Casper. You understand what I'm saying? He got some of the homies there.
Casper's guarding him.
That's fine. That's okay. That's cool. I'm not expecting him to come out and blaze the league. That ain't going to happen. All LaMelo, that's not going to happen. However, some of the big homies are there. So it's not like he's just going to be left on the island. That's why I like that team because guess what? All right, your hands might be a little full here. Slide over. Guard this guy. It's not about him out here trying to guard the best point guards.
Mm-hmm.
It's protection. That's why you got these experienced guys around him. I'm not going to let my little baby brother leave him on the island. Switch, watch out. I got him. And we learned during the week how to defend better guards. That's why I think this team is. Tier 1 is all I got to tell you.
Man.
I haven't seen you this excited ever. You came in hot on the
Because
boomers and now to the breakers.
It's happening.
I like it. You know what else is happening? He's
What?
getting back on the court, but that's a different conversation for a different night. We'll talk about that. Maybe that's.
I fouled out.
I know you fouled out.
3 offensive fouls.
9 minutes, I heard. All right, just quickly. Hashtag
And then Ben
NBL
cut me. I
Overtime.
got cut. Ben said, yo, come back in 3 weeks.
What happened?
Ben cut me.
You got cut from a D-grade domestic Wednesday night team.
Nah, it was a grade A.
Oh, sorry.
It was the first time I...
You tried to strong arm some guys?
You got-
Yeah, it was a little guy. You know, in those leagues, you know, they're going to flop and all that. I mean, I can't be out there complaining to the
Like
ref.
Cam,
You know what
just
happened?
kinda like-
Yeah,
He
it was
would've-
kinda like
you know what
Cam.
happened? He would have ran down yelling at mouse in the house and would have just given an
Nah,
elbow.
they were playing the zone. You know.
You've
They played the zone.
They were, yeah.
I went to a gym.
not
last-
you.
Oh, he don't lift.
I went to a gym last week, realised I was lost. All right, let's quickly just talk about a couple of practice matches which are underway. Big crowds. Big crowds actually everywhere. And we'll talk a couple of the Melbourne games because that's where we were this week. Liam, we'll start with you, South-East Melbourne Phoenix, who are doing... And their mantra is, of course, you know, in the south-east of Melbourne, and Kilsyth is smack bang in the middle of it.
Mate.
Packed house.
There was not any room anywhere. Couldn't have fit another person in that building. And look, that's a massive association out there in Kilsyth. That's Quarterfinal. He was really impressive. But yeah, no, it was great to see something. Obviously, they were out there to see Kyle Adnam from Kilsyth come out there and do his thing, and he did really well. My takeaways: they really need Mitch Creek. They really need Mitch Creek if they're going to make some noise. This guy Quarterfinal is legit. Mm-hmm. He's so legit, and it was even more... I mean, we knew that, but it was even more obvious watching him in person. Cam Oliver's got a lot of talent. I need to see more to see how well he's going to... But look at this throwdown. My
Ooh.
goodness, this was
Oh.
incredible. He's going to really yam on some people. Ty Wesley was a grown man amongst boys out there. Look, when the push came to shove, look, it's a 10-point game, midway through the fourth, and they went single coverage.
Why would you do that? You know he got child support to pay. He got the mortgage.
They just went
You know what I mean?
to-
He got bills to pay. You cannot. That's grown man business.
Is that in a cupcake league?
They definitely in a cupcake league. We know this.
No Scott Machado in that game in the first. He had 14 assists in the first.
That's what
time
Scott
when they
does.
beat-
Shout out to
Yeah.
New York City.
He
listen.
will 100% lead the
league in assists. That's what he does. He's a floor general. I didn't even get into that.
Which is a different...
That's the young brother. That's my young homie.
different track.
Really?
Are
Shout out to the hard work boys. Yes.
they a tier 1 team, Cairns?
No.
Okay.
They're going to finish in last for sure.
Okay.
Their starting unit is going to be very fun.
Where was Nate Jowai?
Not on floor.
No. Was he there?
No.
He wasn't there at all. Okay, cool. All right.
Nate chilling, man. He know what time it is. We know what Nate's going to do.
Well, it's not long until
not
the
long
start
to
of the
go.
season.
I mean, you know.
That's what time it is.
The Brisbane Bullets and Melbourne United played on Sunday at Melbourne Sports and Aquatic Centre, and it was packed as well. Same thing. They tried to charge me to get in, but I just walked through and it was packed house. But no, it was a big crowd in there. Lamar Patterson. Now, he was great early. Remember last year when he came here and he worked himself into shape?
Yes.
It's going to be the exact same thing.
Okay.
The exact
What are you
same
saying,
thing.
Cam?
I'm just saying he's probably...
Say what it is. Keep it 100.
Come on. Keep it a buck on this
Keep
desk.
it a buck on this desk.
You know when he
fam.
dominated the second half of the year?
Yes.
He's not yet at that playing weight.
I don't know what that means.
It means
Are you
that he
saying
will get into
Lamar
shape.
Patterson is out of shape?
No, I'm not saying he's out of shape. I'm just saying he will be in better shape.
You're just
I
saying
think,
he's not quite
as the
in
year
shape.
goes on.
Oh my
He's not at the
God.
playing shape that he was in the second half of the
Okay.
year. He's identically to when he came here last year. Okay.
So you're saying he's out of shape?
No, I'm not saying well, relative to me, he's in shape. He just might not be in the shape that he has been in the past.
Let's go.
This would just turn
There's
into
the double,
to
double.
long just
Yeah.
dunking on people in the second half. Kadee was really good for Brisbane as well, and so was Wigness.
Can you hold on? I want to ask. Could you tell us about Taylor Braun? You said you're at there's Will Magna.
You know
He's going to
what?
have a good year.
Taylor Braun
Taylor Braun was big.
shot the absolute lights out of it.
Uh-huh.
It'll be interesting to see what position he plays. Obviously, we spoke so much about him maybe needing a 4 and then going away from it. He is just a very sweet shooter, and he's going to play into the part of when they can run and gun. He can just spot
Can he
up.
guard Nick Kay?
No, I don't think he can.
Can he guard Ty Wesley?
No, but I think he can almost guard every other 4 in the league because when you look at the NBL, the power forward Wesley and Kay are probably the two main power forwards, and the rest is almost positionless when it comes to the four, if you look around the league. So, no, I don't think he can guard Cade, I don't think he can guard Wesley, but I also, keeping in mind, they've got to go back and guard him going the other way. I'd be surprised. Well, he might start at the 4. They're going to play small ball as well. I think we've spoken about around Melbourne United as well. But I liked what Brisbane were doing. Melbourne was hard. It was almost like a NBL 1 All-Star team. They had their imports playing.
The Trimble, Prather,
all played. Yep.
How'd they go down by 20?
Yeah, they didn't really have anyone else outside of that.
Okay.
McCarron didn't play.
Okay.
Good to see. Josh Giddey played, of course. He's son of Was. He only played probably 7 or 8 minutes, and, you know, he's a young kid, point guard, is learning his way, trying to make his decision on what he's going to do. Not sure if the Next Star program might be an opportunity for him next season, but right now, as it stands, he played in there a little bit. I like what Brisbane are doing, keeping in mind they're missing their backcourt as well.
Their starting backcourt.
Their starting backcourt was there. And Hodgson didn't play.
Okay.
Vicona didn't play as well. So this is where it's hard with the preseason. Brisbane are good. Kadee shot well. Braun shot really well. Weakness was really good. Singler was okay. Weakness was really good, actually. His way to be able to attack the rim, and he's very, very crafty. Hard to take much out of it, though, although Brisbane got a pretty big win, and that's all that matters at the end.
I think it's awesome that those Melbourne United, that trio of imports, get some time together to kind of bond, and also some time now without, you know, Chris Goulding and Dave Barlow and all these other guys around, to learn under Dean Vickerman, learn the ins and the outs of what he wants to get done at the defensive end. We saw some clips of what they were doing at practice defensively, and he's teaching them. And that's going to be the big thing this year, is how much those guys advance, as well as, you know, there's only one ball, and how well do they manage all of that, because they are absolutely stacked full of talent. How well they can pull it all together is going to be fascinating. But you bring Chris Goulding, Mitch McCarron, Dave Barlow, Shea Illy, Alex Pledger back into that lineup. My God, they have talent out of the wazoo.
There's only one ball has never been more prevalent than it is right now in the NBL. Look how stacked some of these teams are. You talk about New Zealand before, only got the one pill. You talk about Melbourne there. You talk about Sydney. You talk about Brisbane. You know, they're starting backcourt both in the Australian team, and then you've got other guys who can stand up and play, you know, good basketball. And it's amazing.
Yeah, this league is going crazy.
It's exciting.
Perth and Adelaide had some
God.
have had some hit-outs recently.
In front of big crowds too in regional WA as well, which is great, yeah.
Let's just park the Wildcats for a second. So the Wildcats, they're the defending champs. They're going to be right there again this year. We're going to spend a lot of time talking about the Wildcats over the course of the season. It's very early.
This league is going
It's very early, but the team everybody is sleeping on are the Adelaide 36ers. Joey Wright likes his squad, and he's having some conversations around the traps telling people how much he likes his squad. And when Joey Wright starts talking about that, like that, his Adelaide 36ers team tends to play really well. Here's the word on them. They are smart. They've got some really good veteran leadership. They've got guys who can, you know, put it in the hole. You talk about guys like Daniel Johnson, Ramon Moore, Eric Griffin can get some things done as well. Deshaun Taylor's come out here and he's shooting the heck out of it, as well as doing what he does at the defensive end. So I think that's the team, I think, at the Blitz. Everyone's going to be like, whoa, I think we were sleeping on Adelaide coming in.
Two guys, just say McVeigh and Frawley. Now, Frawley had a really good year last year, and McVeigh looks like he spent, not dissimilar to me, just spent the whole off-season in the gym.
I'm trying to tell you guys.
Getting bigger and stronger you do. So in professional sport and in leagues like this, it's look, the imports traditionally have pretty good years, and Daniel Johnson is going to, you would expect to have another good year like he has. It's that next step, that next tier, talking tiers, you go the next level. And McVeigh and Frawley go another level or two up, which it looks like early doors that they have. That just makes them a whole different outfit.
You never ever discount a Joey Wright team. That's number one. Not saying we have, but, you know, we haven't spent a lot of time talking about them. They've been flying under the radar like he likes it.
He will like that.
They went to the Philippines, played well. You know, they're obviously going to be working extremely hard. You know, he's going to be pushing them early. And, you know, they play like they have a chip on their shoulder, which they do. And I look forward to seeing them. And, yo, the Blitz is going to be crazy this year.
You coming?
Am I? Yeah. We'll be in the building.
Yeah, we're going.
You know, I'm not really too fond and high on preseason. I'm just never been.
I agree.
But I'm excited for the Blitz because we really get the first opportunity to see these teams in one country, at a different location, all together going at it.
Have you worked out our schedule for when we're going to be in Tasmania?
No, but I do know that we need to make sure we have GoPros in our car for how we make it move.
Who's driving?
Oh, I'm not.
Oh, neither am I.
I'll tell you that. Don't ask me.
You know what?
I'm not driving.
Plan on it. Don't worry. All right.
Yeah.
Hey, before we do get out of here, we can't wait for the Blitz and hope we get to see you all down there. Drinks on Liam or Corey, whoever you want when you come down there. You paying for drinks?
Look,
if you come over and use the code word NBL Overtime at a bar, is that a free round? All right. LaMelo Ball, the Hawks played the Indigenous All-Stars last week, and this weekend they're in Victoria, but he officially makes his debut on Australian soil, boys. We would have watched it from afar. What'd you make of him?
Very slick pass. He's an incredible passer, floor general. It's good for him to get a hit out early, get his feet wet. Yes, it's just the Indigenous All-Stars, but it's good for him. You know, practice is practice, but to just get out and play a game with your teammates, hit some shots, you know, have a crowd out there, and, you know, you get a little bit more confident, you know. So good on him. That's how I look at it.
Is this a contract year for Greta?
It sure is.
Yep.
And I spoke to a couple of people that were in the building and watched the Hawks. They've got their whole squad working. No one away with the Boomers or anything like that. They got the whole squad. Interesting couple of things that caught my eye. Who they started. And a lot of talk about who they might start in different spots. Started Nar at the 1. LaMelo coming off the bench. Brooks at the 2. I'm told he looked a class above everyone else in the building. Blanchfield at the 3. And they went Ogilvy and Boone at the 4 and the 5, which was interesting. Now, obviously, things got shuffled around from there as the game progressed. But LaMelo and Nar, I'm told, pretty much split time at the 1. Brooks still getting his kind of legs under him after the big trip over, but Cotton-esque is the idea here with Aaron Brooks. And Dan Greta, you know, like last year, a rookie, teenager, skinny, has put on a whole bunch of size, and he's playing, you know, played over in New Zealand, has come in with a whole bunch of confidence. So it's going to be such a fun. That team is going to be like the League Pass team. They're the SBS On Demand team this season. The Illawarra Hawks, they're going to be must-watch TV.
Just quickly, now, all the NBL clubs are doing a really good job of digital content, putting cameras in or whatever it might be. We get to see a lot of behind the scenes. Did you see the Todd Blanchfield stuff that got put out? Anything stick out to you?
Tell me.
Homicide defence.
Oh, yes. Did you see that?
No, somebody said something, but...
I watched it 10 or 15 times.
What did he say?
I'm paraphrasing here, but he's essentially going to play homicide defence, just stand underneath the ring. Let him shoot.
Oh, yeah, fair enough.
That's the way I read it. Is that how you...
Tell you what I remember is watching Homicide just do his thing.
I know I was MVP of the league.
It is.
I know I averaged 19 or 20 points a game in 4 consecutive years.
With people playing that deep.
With people playing homicide defense.
Okay, so do what you want to do.
So you play me how you want to play me.
Hey,
well, you know what? When we go one-on-one, which I want to do still, I will
we'll
play
never
you
play
how I
one-on-one.
play you. We're going to put together a team, though, aren't we? The NBL Overtime team.
No, we're not going to do that.
No,
we're going to play.
No, we're not doing that.
What about that league you said?
Yeah, no, we're playing in that league.
What day?
Well, it's Monday nights, but we'll discuss it off air.
Oh, okay.
We need a couple more players, though. A couple of development NBL players.
No. We can grab a couple of stragglers.
Okay.
We can grab a couple of stragglers.
All right, before we do get out of here, it's been a very sad week in the world of sport with the passing of Danny Spud Frawley. So here in the NBL Overtime studio, which where Spud done a lot of great work here, Croc Media in Melbourne now, we pass our condolences to not only the Frawley family as well and all his friends, but the sporting community and, of course, his links to basketball. He loved basketball. His daughter in the US playing collegiately as well. And he's a guy that's going to be sorely missed. For everyone who knew him, and the three of us at different times had the privilege of coming across him via in a work situation or socially, we're going to miss you, mate. And that's really all I got to say on that horribly sad situation.
Yep.
On that note, we'll be back next week.